Everybody, what's up? Good morning, good evening if you're listening at night. It's good morning for us. It's Saturday morning. Monday morning for you when you watch it or listen. I am, y'all know who I am already, Jacquilla McFarley. Welcome back to the Healing Exchange podcast. Y'all know what to do. Y'all gonna follow me on Instagram. It's healing_exchange. I remember my at name now. And Facebook. That's just Jacquilla McFarley. I got a lot of followers from last week. Like, I didn't know from the last grief episode, people were following me. So I appreciate that. And TikTok, Jacquilla MC. Y'all know that. So I have another. Y'all, we've been in a grief series. I did the first part of grief by myself. Told my story with grief. How I deal with it. Then part 2, Miss Tawana, she lost her son. She was very, 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 very truthful about that process. And we on part 3. Now, I don't know if this is going to be the last part or not. Depends on what God say, because he be telling me some crazy stuff. So right now it's just part 3. And I have Miss Annalisha Beauford. Did I say your name right?
Correctly.
Because people been saying Miss Tawana's name wrong. They said Tawana. It's
you said it correctly.
People say your name wrong?
Sometimes.
What they say?
Annalisa,
like without the H?
all type of stuff. I just say Anna for short. If you can't pronounce it, Anna for short.
But it's not hard. it's like the syllable is Annalisha.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Well, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I got an icebreaker question. I know the answer, but I want them to know. What's your favorite food?
Seafood.
Of course. Y'all, she on her story, this lady is always at somebody's seafood place. Like, and the last time you posted it, it made me go get some seafood.
Some?
Oh
the same
my
spot?
God.
Or different
No,
spot?
I went to Crafty Crab.
Oh, okay. I used to go to them before I started Yummies.
Where's Yummies?
Winter Garden.
You know, somebody told me
Kmart
about
used
that.
to be.
That's your favorite one?
Favorite one.
Wow. I'm gonna have to
Favorite
go.
one.
So, what you do for fun outside of? Well, tell them about your business. Actually,
I have an event business named actually after my son, Dream 24 Decor. When before Trey passed away, he played for a basketball team called Dream. Mm-hmm. His jersey number was 24, and today is the 24th. So the 24th. I didn't put that together. The business after him, which is Dream 24 Decor.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
it's this morning.
Did you? I didn't know the day was the 24th. I didn't put that together. Wow, it's the 24th. Yeah. So, wow. So let's get right into it since we're here. First, when you started your business, you did it like right after he passed away, or you waited
maybe
a
like
while?
a year.
A year after
he passed away.
Is he the motivation for it?
He is.
He is the motivation for it.
He is.
Well, let's go back to the beginning. Like his name is Trey. Who was your son? What was his personality like?
And Travis was my firstborn, my humble, quiet child, who pretty much stayed in the house for a long, long, long time. When I had Trey, I was living with my mom. So Trey was kind of like my mom's other child in a sense. Mm-hmm. So I had other kids after Trey, but Trey still was connected to my mom, so he pretty much stayed with my mom. I always was involved, always still had custody, but he just liked to be over there.
It sounds like my story.
Yeah, so he was a quiet, good kid up until like maybe like a year or 2 years before he passed. I think he was dealing with a lot in a sense, trying to make sure me and his siblings was okay, rejected by his dad, and he kind of strayed away. His love for basketball went away. I I guess, survival mode for him, and he just got caught up with the wrong people.
That was 2 years before?
2 years before. And so when I got him back, staying with me, it was hard to reprogram him from what he was already exposed to.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Wow. But him at his purest self was...
Basketball player.
Quiet.
Humble, quiet.
Introvert?
Very much so.
Mm-hmm. Did he have a lot of friends? Or?
He had a lot of friends. He knew a lot of people. A lot of people, because still to this day I can't remember half of the people that was reaching out to me. Like, how you know him?
Right.
Like, somebody reached out to me from way out of a different state.
A whole nother state?
On Facebook. And I'm like, to myself, how do you know him? But I didn't ask him how he knew him. But he knew a lot of people. And even when he started hanging with two different group of boys, he still knew how to handle both his sets of friends. He had his basketball, his day one friends, and then he had his boys from the streets.
How was y'all's, like, not like when he, like with y'all's relationship as far as like when he moved with you, or like throughout his, when you noticed, because you said he started hanging with the wrong crowd, and all teenagers have that little, not little, but have that season,
Right.
when they hang with the wrong crowd, school, whatever. I dealt with rejection a lot, so I can only imagine what he felt by my dad as well. But when you finally got him, how was y'all's relationship?
I mean, it was the same as it was any other day, because I was always, involved. It wasn't that I didn't see him or I didn't, go too long without talking to him or anything like that. So our relationship was still our relationship.
Was he, well, I mean, that's not a dumb question, but it probably is. He was a mama's boy? Grandma and mama's boy?
Yeah, he was him, like, he was him own self in a bubble. Like, he was him. Like, he loved everybody equally, let's just say that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Wow. Did you bring him to church or a few times? Or?
Yes, he actually came to church when we had the graduation. That was his last time at church. When we had the graduation, the school graduation.
Oh, okay.
The school graduation. My mom was graduating. And he came.
He came? Was he a part of the,
No.
Oh, okay. All right. What school did he?
He attended Akoi and Edgewater.
Oh, okay.
So a little here and a little there. Because when he came with me, he had to switch over to Edgewater because I was on this side of town. When he was with my mom, it was Akoi.
It was Akoi? Yes. Okay. Now, before we get into everything, everybody grieves differently. Everybody grieves differently. My grief, of course, I don't have children. I can't imagine what it's like losing that. I just can't. I can't imagine that feeling. Like, I just can't imagine that feeling. Even if you try to, like, describe it, nobody could, unless you've lost a child.
You wouldn't understand.
Nobody will understand. Like, what does that feel like to know that not a lot of people understand? Like, when you are in a moment, or do you talk to people? Do you have other people around you that lost a child?
It was hard at first, because when I first lost Trey, I isolated myself, which is, I believe, the worst thing you can do. So I isolated myself almost 2 years.
2 years?
Almost 2 years. Wouldn't eat.
You didn't talk to nobody?
Not like that. It was hard because I felt like nobody understood. Like, I could be talking to you, but you don't really understand. You can tell me you understand. You can tell me you're sorry. You can tell me a million things. But if you have not walked in my shoes, I know deep down inside you don't understand me. So it's hard to talk to a wall. They can't talk back.
Yeah.
So it was hard talking to people. And when I started coming out, I had this one lady, which was my therapist. She was walking me through the process. And I lost her.
Was she? She, like, passed away?
Yes, she committed suicide.
You're a therapist?
My therapist. So.
Wow.
Yeah. I've taken hit after hit after hit after hit. So I know what it's like to lose friends. I know what it's like to lose family. Because I lost my grandma in 2017. I lost my father in 2018. I lost Trey 2021. I lost my other grandma 2022. And my therapist in 2023.
Well, okay. Well, go back. 2018 was the first year you lost someone.
17.
17. Did you
My
really
father's
grieve them?
I was hurt, but I got over it. In 2018, when I lost my father, I thought that was hard. Like, because I was messed up by my daddy. I'm a daddy's girl. I was messed up. And when I lost Trey, it can't compare to nobody I've ever lost.
So each loss was different?
Different.
But you've gotten over, well, I mean, because, moving on is like kind of different from just like, I don't think you ever get over.
I don't get over it. Like, I think about my dad sometimes. I think about my grandmother sometimes. But Trey, I think about all the time.
Well, that was your child.
All the time. So I've gotten over the other deaths, but this one has been
the
hardest.
The hardest.
So
you lost quite a few people as far as like when it comes to grieving. So do you remember the last time you spoke with Trey? You remember the weather and all of that? Was it sunny outside?
Sunday morning. And I would have been in church, but I did virtual that day. And I had the phone propped up on the TV while I was cleaning up. And I talked to him the day before, which would have been a Saturday, because he asked me for some money, and I gave him some money. Last time I actually seen him was that Friday evening. They was getting ready to go to Airbnb for a party, him and a couple of his friends. And Saturday he called, asked me for some money. I sent him some money. Sunday, I said, well, I haven't heard from Trey yet, and it's about 11 o'clock. So I haven't heard from Trey yet. When I go to the bathroom and come back, I'm going to call Trey. As I'm coming from the bathroom to pick up my phone, the call comes in.
From who?
One of his associates, his friends. I'm going to say his friend because that's what he considered them.
At that time.
And it was a FaceTime. He said, Trey been shot. And I just ran out of the house. Like, I didn't have a shirt on. I just grabbed my purse and went. And my daughter came running behind me. And I'm running red lights and everything because I got to drive way to Carver Shores. And I'm on the east side. So I'm running red lights, everything.
Carver Shores is where the party was?
No, Carver Shores is where they end up taking him.
That what?
So, yeah, I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
So when I got the call.
Take your time.
I went, and when I arrived at the apartment complex, there were ambulances everywhere. And I jumped out of the car, and I'm like, where is he? So the paramedic's like, well, I need some information from you. They wouldn't let me in where he was. So the next time I seen him, he was on a stretcher, being brought out. I'm following behind the paramedics, going all the way to the hospital. They put me in a room and tell me that they're working on him. So,
it's okay. Let it out. We can do it. Take your time. Take your time.
They said they're working on him, so we waiting, and the detective coming in, and he says there was an incident. We don't really know much what happened, but unfortunately, Travis is no longer with us. And I lost it. I ran out in rage. I went riding around looking for answers, Still to this day, I know rumors, but I don't know completely what happened.
You don't know how what situation played
I
out?
don't know what situation played out, because one thing I know, he knew right from wrong, but I just feel like he was with the wrong people at the wrong time. Now, what I will say, from what I do know, from what the detective told me, and I'll always hold on to that recording in my phone because I recorded it before the detective closed the case. I had questions because I wanted to make sure, at the time it was a lot of the Ricos and a whole bunch of other stuff going on. And I wanted to make sure that he wasn't involved in anything, he hadn't hurt nobody. So the detective did tell me that he was with the wrong people at the wrong time. They didn't let me see him when he first passed away, and I didn't understand why.
Yeah.
I couldn't go in and see him, no nothing. I had to wait 2 days before I was actually able to see him. And his fingernails was cut, like cut a lot.
His fingernails were
Yeah,
cut?
because they used that for to see
to
see if it's gun residue or anything, because it was an extra shootout that had took place.
It was
And
a shootout.
so I wanted to know his involvement. Now, despite the rumors, there was no gun residue on his hands. So again, he was with the wrong people at the wrong time.
So that bullet probably wasn't like meant for him.
It wasn't. Even the interview with the young guy that shot him.
Wait, so you know who shot him?
I know who shot him. And because the detective and them couldn't get the full story of what happened, the only thing they could have ever charged him with was possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. So the detective assured me, he said, because he was the person that killed Trey, was also caught up in the Ricos and all that stuff like that. So he told me, say, I can assure you that what he's behind bars for now, he will be gone a lot longer than if I just try to charge him with
The murder.
Possession of a firearm, not even murder. Wow. So he told me, the young guy's story. Said it was a group of boys in the car from the person that killed him story. It was a group of young boys in the car. They came, pulled up, and was shooting at them. And he just picked up a gun he seen sitting down and shot back. And of course, we know that's not
the full
story.
Truth, yeah.
Right. But again, the detective assured me that he just was with the wrong people at the wrong time. His name hadn't came up and with nothing. A couple of people who he was with, they were investigating. They was even watching my house. A whole bunch of stuff was going on that I didn't even know anything about. So, yeah, he was.
So you had people watching your house around that time, and you didn't know it yet at that time?
And didn't even know it.
Wow.
So I was able to see all the evidence. And when he showed me the vehicle that Trey was in, he told me only one of these bullets, it was 3 bullets. One of these bullets right here is probably the bullet that hit him.
Fatal.
It wasn't even fatal, because they could have took him to the hospital. He could have had a chance to survive. Now, we'll clear up the rumor as far as them leaving him. They never left him. They drove him to another friend's house. And from there, they waited on the paramedics.
So they waited. They didn't just drop him off.
He was still conscious. He helped them walk him inside the apartment based on the ring from the person upstairs. When he collapsed inside the apartment, that it was over. He got shot with a .22, and those bullets moved.
Yeah.
So if they would have took him, which they bypassed several hospitals, he probably would have still been here. I was told that the car was shot up, so we couldn't make it. So we had to take him to the closest spot. That wasn't true, because the camera on Colonial and Pius Road picked them up going at a high rated speed. And based on the photos of the vehicle, they were only on the side of the door, the driver door. None in the engine, none by the gas tank that would have stopped the car from getting them to the emergency room. But I think that was just a cover up because one, they were in a stolen vehicle, and two, it may have been some things
in the
car.
Yeah, that's why they didn't go.
So they ditched it to the back of the apartment complex. So yeah, that's pretty much what that day consisted.
So they took him to another friend's house in Carver Shores. Man.
Yeah.
So how does that, as best as you can, how does that feel to know that your son could have survived? Like, even if they dropped him off at the front and kept going or something like that, like at a hospital.
When it first happened, I still was trying to love everybody as he did. So I was overlooking a lot of things.
In that process while you were trying to love.
So I didn't ask for stories. Stories was given to me.
Okay.
I said at the right time, somebody got an answer to me about what happened and how we got here. Like I said, there's a lot of stories out there. It's a lot of rumors. All I know is what the detective told me is what I told you. Truth-wise, I don't know. I still don't know. Will I ever know? I don't think so. There's only one person that can tell me the story that I might believe, and he's still incarcerated. He calls every now and then. This is the person that was with Trey just about every day.
Why is he not telling you?
He's incarcerated. So I told him when he come home.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because he was caught up in the RICO stuff too.
Okay.
But I said when he come home, he assured me that he would tell me what happened. The other stories from the other people just didn't sound right. It just didn't sound like my child. It's not adding up. So I'll wait and see if I get that story from him. If not, I'm not hoping for it or holding on to it. I kind of like want to get past the flashbacks, the moments, the memories that are in my head to carry on.
But and before you got here, what did it feel like not knowing? Like when time went by and you're grieving now, did you feel, I don't know if it's empty is the right word, or
I will say I was never completely empty. I thank God that he did come back and move with me, and I was able to see and observe who he was with and what was going on. So I kind of knew where to look or try to search for answers when it happened. But we talking about an area that you could be their cousin and something happened and ain't nobody opening their mouth.
Yeah.
So I gave up
trying
to find or ask questions because it just was too many different stories.
Was that hard to give that up though?
It was, because I wanted to know why. Why him? Why me? Why us? Why we had to go through this? And the longer I hold on to the why, the more hurt I become. So I had to stop searching for the why and realize that sometimes God has to take the heart to get our attention. And Trey was the heart in a lot of people's lives.
Wow.
A lot of people's lives.
I was at the funeral.
I know you told me.
Yeah. You didn't know too when I first started.
And I don't quite remember everybody that was there because
I know you wouldn't. It was a beautiful funeral though. Y'all did that. Yeah, that was beautiful. But I was our church was kind of over it. I was on the drums. And I didn't know anybody at that time. I had really just gotten there to our church, and I'm like, it was sad. And when I got to the funeral, I found out how old your son was. I'm like, oh, he was young. And then them saying he was dropped off. I'm like, this is terrible. Like, I've never heard a story like that.
Yeah, that's what the news reporters, we only spoke to one news station, and that was Channel 2, I believe.
Channel 2.
Everybody else had the story wrong. 9 had it wrong, 6 had it wrong, 13 had it wrong. He was never dropped. Never. As
Because they made it seem
bad
like...
as I dislike the people that were involved, I still can't lie and say they dropped him off. They never dropped him off. They were there when I arrived on the scene. They were there. Fussing with the officers, fussing with the paramedics, trying to let them in. They was trying to perform CPR when I was on FaceTime. They were trying to give them what they were trying to do, what they knew how to do, even until it was wrong.
So when you go back, so whoever his friend called, and they was your son that you saw him.
He was just laying there.
He showed you and was like, "Hey, wow."
And I said, "Where is he shot?" And Travis bled internally. There was no blood outside like that. No, he bled internally.
Wow. And you saw that and then dropped everything, of course.
Yeah.
And ran out the door,
there. Ran the red lights and everything.
And they did not let you in the scene.
They did not let me in. And when he came out, I hit the ground. I knew
he was already gone.
He was gone at that apartment. They told me the story about they working on him and all that because they wanted his organs and stuff, of course. Because, like, 5 hours after leaving the hospital, they calling me about his organs. Wow. And I'm like, no.
No, right.
Absolutely not.
Right.
Big no.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
So and I know we can't get into the case, but I'm very curious because this is a bizarre story. The person, okay, whoever house it was, did you talk to them? Whoever apartment it was?
It was not like it was a stranger. It was somebody that he knew, somebody that he hung with. His mother's house.
Did the mother give you some sort of perspective or story, or
she
you didn't
know
ask?
Nothing. They just came there. Her son wasn't involved at all. He was on house arrest at the time.
Oh.
So he had no involvement at all. They just ended
took him
up
to a
taking
friend's
him there.
house. He was that friend,
right?
That they took him to.
No, he wasn't involved. Only thing that I can remember that she told us is that he had a gold plate, and I guess when they was trying to perform CPR and give him aid, it came out. So after that, my mom went back and was riding through the neighborhood, and she ended up giving his bottom grill.
Okay.
But other than that, she wouldn't know nothing. No, wow. They wasn't involved.
All right, so and we walking through it, and thank you for sharing this. Okay. For real, it's hard. I know. I can see you in your face. It's hard. I can't. Man. So okay, he's in the hospital. You saw him 2 days later.
2 days later.
At the
morgue, which was a whole nother mess.
Why was it a mess?
Because I wanted Travis to go out nice. Because I know that was the last time I'll ever be able to do anything for my child. So I gave it my last. Spent over $30,000 for his funeral.
Wow.
And I trusted a guy who was not legit.
He was a con artist?
Con artist. To deal with my child. And he was out of Gainesville. And he sent somebody to go get Trey. And so Trey was at the funeral home in Apaka. And he told me to meet him there. And we met him there. His godmom, my husband, and my mom and stepfather. And that's when I got to see Trey. But
what was that like when you and I know you probably again can't describe the feeling when you finally saw your son, like, and not to give you that image again, but when you looked at him finally, knowing the last time you saw him, he
looked like himself still.
He didn't look like himself?
He still looked like himself.
He still looked like himself.
He still looked like himself. He just looked like he was sleeping. So it still ain't sink in that Trey was gone. Right. So my husband and everybody broke down pretty much but me. It still hadn't sunk in. Trey did not. I cried, but I didn't let it out.
Let it out.
Until like a year later.
Not even at the funeral?
I still was thinking it he would come back, or I don't know what I was thinking, but I held on to the fact that he was not gone. We was at the cemetery celebrating either his birthday or his 1 year anniversary of death. Mm-hmm. That's when I let it go.
That's when you left at the grave.
That's when I let it go.
Site. Were you around people?
Everybody was there, and I just was crying. Couldn't stop crying. I was crying, and couldn't stop crying. Just crying. Because when Trey first left, when they put Trey in the ground, I was there every day. Mm-hmm. I used to sleep at the cemetery. Wake up when the sun came up and was at the cemetery.
You used to sleep at the cemetery?
Sleep there. Sleep in my car at the cemetery.
I would be terrified.
And it's frightening as I am with the dark like that.
I was going to say, I'm scared of the dark.
With no lights out there. I used to keep my headlights on. My doors locked and my car running, and I used to sleep there.
Not afraid, just there with your child.
I just felt like that was my peace. When I was there, when I go there, I feel so much better.
And you know, a regular, not a regular person, but I would hear stories how people can never go to the grave.
I never thought that I would. So, my grandmother and my father are out of Georgia. Mm-hmm. When my father passed away, we cremated him. So my father sits on my dresser. Mm. So, but even if he was in the ground, I don't think I would drive way up there to see him. Mm-hmm. But I never seen myself going to the cemetery once somebody is gone. It was no purpose. But when it came to my child,
it was different.
Every purpose in the world to be there. Mm-hmm. So I go there. That's my peace.
Wow. So we're at the morgue. You saw your son. It didn't really sink in yet. Drama at the morgue. Oh, in that moment. After that, you had to plan his funeral. You and your mama, I'm guessing. What were you thinking when you were planning the funeral?
At first, I wanted to cremate him.
Why?
Because I wanted him close to me like I had my father.
Okay. You wanted him in the house. Okay.
Right.
Got it.
But my mom.
She didn't want that.
So me not wanting to be selfish and me thinking for everybody else, like I said, still in the moment, trying to cater and please everybody else, I end up deciding to bury him. Mm-hmm. If I can go back and do it again.
You would cremate him?
I would cremate him.
Wow.
Because it was drama, even with the back and forth with the hoods and the streets. It was taking this stuff, just out there just doing crazy stuff. So at the gravesite, they was stealing his stuff. I've been through that. Yeah.
My God.
Pointless stuff that can be replaced. I mean, but still, he has insurance on his headstone.
But principle of it, like they was still.
These kids,
they don't care.
They're different. They don't. It's like whatever I can do to try to hurt you, and see with me, I can deal with it and I can defend me. But his siblings, when they see stuff like that or they hear stuff like that on social media, they take it hard.
Yeah.
And me, I still don't know how to comfort my kids without breaking down. I know how to get them help, but I don't know how to be their help when it comes to this process. Because some days I don't know how to help myself. Mm-hmm. So it's hard for me to help my kids. Mm-hmm. And they grieve. So when they see stuff like that,
that's devastating to them.
All over again.
All over again. Like ripping the wombs, ripping it off all over again. Yeah. That's terrible. So you dealing, okay, that's a lot so far. And we ain't even in the part where you buried him yet. So you planning the funeral. It still hasn't sunk in that you lost. And how old was he?
16.
16. Still a baby. So you planning, you dealing with drama, you dealing with trying to please everybody. Because, I don't know what it is about when people die, but we be acting.
Everybody feel like they entitled.
Like they know what that person wanted. I've been through that. Like, show up and just, oh, nah, he don't like that. Oh, nah, I don't like that. I'm like, where were you? And I'm not speaking of anybody on your corner. I've been through that.
I've been through that. Oh, it was a lot of that.
That's selfish. And you say you didn't want to be selfish?
I'm the mother.
Right.
Nobody called the shots but me.
Right. That's crazy. I don't know what it is about when people die.
Everybody feel like they're entitled. I'm like where you was when I was taking it. Like,
right, right. And
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, it was you that had the final say.
Yeah.
So you planning and still hasn't sunk in. What was it like leading up to the moment of the funeral? Like, first, I wanted to ask about the last conversation. Was there anything that you remember particularly? Do you play that conversation back in your head when you talk to him?
With Trey?
Yeah, on the phone.
No, I don't remember that. What I remember is him preparing to go to a party at the Airbnb. Never heard him replay a song or put a song on repeat with a song play twice. So before he left the house, Tombstone by Rod Wave, he played twice.
That's scary.
Twice. So now that when I go back and remember the days leading up,
Stuff is
I can
starting.
see it. I remember the birds.
What birds?
What are they called? Blue Jays? Blue Jays.
Where were they?
Around the house, just on the fence, by the cars, on the cars, just so close to me. And I couldn't understand why. And
that had never happened. You never seen the blue jay around your house.
even Trey, he was sitting on the porch. He was just so calm. And when he left, birds been my thing. The Cardinals and the Blue Jays. I'm just so connected to them now. And he played that song twice. So that was his song. That was his song when he left here. That was his song. That's what we played. It just came out. I didn't know who Rod Wave was, but that was his song.
That was his song.
Yep.
What's that song about? I'm curious.
A song about death. How to bury me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
And he played that twice.
He played it twice. And that's what I remember. I don't even remember the conversation about the money. I know what happened, but I don't remember it like that.
But that was the last time you saw him.
That was the last time I saw him. It was Friday.
And he was calm. He wasn't in no... He was just his regular self.
He was his regular self. Yep.
So leading up to the funeral, you're going through all of this drama with people thinking they know. And leading up to the day, what were you thinking? Nothing? Or, I know it wasn't sinking in. You just...
Doing what I had to do.
You was just go mode.
Yeah, it still wasn't... I wasn't able to eat. I would gag every time I tried to eat. It was like a lump in my throat. Even when I go to the cemetery, I was throwing up and hadn't even ate nothing.
Wow.
That's how sick I was.
So when you went to, did you look at him in the casket?
I did.
What did you think? You didn't think?
Still wasn't. It didn't sink in. It was something that I had to do, but
you looked at him and it was just like, nah, he's not gone. Or it can't be. I can't believe it. Yeah. Wow.
And at that point, he did different, of course, because he sat 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Was already embalmed by that time, because when I had seen him
before,
he wasn't embalmed yet.
Okay.
Right. He just was still him. But nothing really sunk into me until like a year later.
That year later. So afterwards, your son is gone. We don't know the story, the full story. Of course.
Know.
Yeah. Do you still, though, I'm curious, do you still, when whoever the friend is, when he gets out, do you still kind of have a little hope? Or
I'm not holding on to it.
You let it go?
I'm not expecting it.
I'm
not looking forward to it. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I'm already taking the steps to move past the whys. So
no,
I'm not looking forward to it. If I get it, I do. But that person has been locked up since
it happened.
Since 2 or 3 days before the funeral. I can't remember the time, but he's been arrested since then. He hasn't been home since then. So I mean, he'll call me periodically and check on us. I mean, he's, like I said, he's about the only one that I have dealings with.
Out of that whole, yeah,
he's the only one, and that's only because I seen him with my child every day. He was like another child to me. They
the close
eat, sleep, right there together at my house.
And he was there when
he was there when it happened. And to me, he took it the hardest. But everybody else, I just after a while, like Apostle told me when he preached over his funeral, after a while that that still sticks with me because after a while you see, after a while you look back and you realize, like I said, I held like even to their defense with the state attorney, with the detective, I can't see them get arrested because when he passed away, that was his friend. Even though true colors have been revealed at the time, that was he considered their friend. So I couldn't see them get arrested for something I really don't know what really happened. That would have been selfish, and I got a lot of backlash from the parents and everything. And I just know that if it would have been on the other foot, I know what I did was right. Because when they asked me who he was with at the hospital, A, B, C, and D. But, I got backlash for even saying that.
Even giving their names?
Even with giving their names. I got accused of being in police reports. That's my child.
Right. I was going to say
that's my child. And when they asked me who he was with, I know who he was with when he left my house Friday, A, B, and C. So A, B, and C names y'all brought up. Yeah.
And you got backlash from their parents.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And which was fine because, again, in his life and in his death, I will protect my child. I will.
So what's your, I want to talk about the grieving process now. Everybody's process is different. I processed terribly. I didn't lose a child, but when I lost my grandfather and then my godmother recently, it was terrible. It was bad. It was bad. Because, my problem was finding out stuff. You know how you find out stuff after they're already gone? And you can't ask them questions. And it's like, you're trying to get the answers. Yeah, it's like, how do I get the answers? I'm at the graveyard, cussing at the grave, cussing at my grandfather, and nobody will tell me. I can't get answers. So what's your grieving process with God? Like, did it start with God? Did you, what are you doing now?
It has brought me closer.
It brought you closer
to God. Like, I've always been in the church. I've always known who he was. But when he took my child, well, not took my child, but when I lost my child, he was all I had. So it was just me and him.
Were you ever mad at God?
Never.
You never was mad at God?
I never was mad at God. I never faulted myself as if I failed my child. My child knew right from wrong. He was old enough to make his own decisions. I didn't fault myself. I did the best that I could do with all my kids and still doing the best that I could do.
You never fought yourself?
I never faulted myself. Never fought. I was afraid to ask God why for the longest until I got clarification that I can pray and ask him why. But before then, it was like, you don't question him. So
that's what they taught us.
So I didn't question him at first, but when I realized that it was okay, it's just a man of how you do it. I did.
Because you're casting your cares. That's what he wants you to do.
Right.
He wants you to do that.
So, yeah.
So you asked God why. Finally.
And I just feel like, again, he had to take the heart to open a lot of eyes, and especially his mother's eyes. And I went through a lot, and I'm relearning how to live.
Yeah, because who you was with your son is different now that you
much different.
There's a whole nother person now.
A whole nother person. So I'm learning how to relive with this whole grief journey. And every day is a different battle. Every day. I'm fighting a different demon every day. And I can be okay. And it's the only thing that is going to be hard for me for the rest of my life is because this may work this time to get over this hurdle. But that same thing may not work if I get myself in the jam again. My struggle with grief is I get stuck a lot and don't know how to get out of it. And that's when I isolate. That's when I'm in depression. That's when anger and different behaviors are coming out because I don't know how to really
get
unstuck or say how I really feel for anybody to understand. My kids don't understand. My husband don't understand. people around me don't really understand. Unless you have lost a child,
You
you
know,
don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a different battle every day.
So, but the biggest thing is when it comes up, it's
I'm
the
stuck.
stuck.
I don't want to work. I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to eat. Nothing.
Are you in therapy?
I was.
After that, I know. I mean, your therapist committing suicide. Like,
Yeah,
I
that
don't know
was-
how I would be able to. Man, that's crazy.
And
That's
that had
crazy.
me, that turned me a little bit because it's like somebody that I talked to and told my story. I don't want to keep telling my story to everybody.
That's so draining.
And I don't talk about this
Mhm.
with everybody.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've opened up and had a conversation because I'm at that point where I can now. But I'm not going to keep retelling my story.
So this is the last time.
Make sure y'all watch it and replay it because you won't get it again. No.
Wow.
No.
So did you ever find another therapist? Or
I did. I do have a therapist, but it's when I need it. Like I was given the tools to get me through. I was on medication, but I wasn't going to stay on that medication. I work in a psych ward. And many nights I'm in there with my patient and I'm crying knowing that I need a bed right next to my patient. Because that's the type of field I work in. But I gave myself some time. I'm going to take these meds because that's what I got to do to get over this hurdle, because I've tried everything else and nothing else is working. I can't do it by myself. But it was really the fact of me opening up and realizing that other people can help me and that I, needed help.
So you're the type that don't accept, in general.
It's hard.
It's hard
because everybody's intentions
aren't
right. And then it's like I'm the person that always giving, and has the big heart. But I get upset when I don't get it in return. Not realizing that everybody ain't not you. You're not going to find you in all these other people. But it's not that I do it because I want to do it. It's just in me. My heart is just big. I can't control it. I don't know how to not be strong. Because that's when I lost Trey. Everybody was like, stop being so strong. I don't know how to not be strong because my babies grew up with me. I mean, different men came and went, but we never had a man that was stable. Besides my husband, who I'm with now. So, I mean, and when me and my husband started talking, I felt like we were complete. My family was complete. The number 7. Husband. It was 7 of us.
Wow.
But then when Trey left, he took me with him because I was not the same. And I'm still not the same. I'm relearning to fix and be a better person. Not that I want to forget about him, because I would never forget about him. But I want to learn how to move past or not sit in my grief.
So, last question. I didn't know you knew who shot your son. First of all, I didn't know that. So, I got to ask it the right way. So
I'm not mad at him.
You forgave him?
I could never fault him because he didn't know who he was shooting at.
So you wasn't mad at that man?
Never was mad at him. To be honest, I'm more mad at the people that was involved with him than the person that actually did it.
That actually shot.
Because his beef wasn't with my child. My child was just clinging to the wrong people. I mean,
wrong place,
wrong time. But that's the choice that he made. That was, like I said, he had 2 groups of people. Basketball, streets.
In the streets.
So I can never be mad. I know who it is. I've always knew since the case got closed who it was. I know name with face, but I can't be mad.
You're not mad at him. And he was open and honest about.
He told the detective what happened.
Well, everybody, I do want you to help. I know you said this is not going to be. Well, you said this is the last time. So everybody, this is the last time.
The last time.
Don't ask I mean, unless you need, help, but don't. So, being that this is the last time, this is a very special moment, Annalisha, that this is the last time that you're gonna. Well, this is the first and last time because
First and last.
Did you feel that you let everything out
I did.
that you want to say? That's good. Because you're safe here on our show. Oh yeah. So me and God show.
Yeah.
And got to include him. So you feel like you said everything. I have a hard question. So the old Annalisha's gone. She died with her child. Mm-hmm. If you were to step out of who you're learning now, the new Annalisha, what advice would you give her? It's kind of like the question of what would you tell your little self? What would you, the old Annalisha.
What would I tell the old Annalisha?
No, what would the old Annalisha tell this one right now? As far as rediscovering herself, does she have any advice?
Focus on you.
Focus.
It's not selfish to put you first, and that's what I'm learning. Mm-hmm. Show up for you like you show up for everybody else. Be attentive to you, because when you're so busy here, there, mm-hmm. you also lose yourself. So not only grief, but not pouring into yourself like you should, you will lose you. Mm-hmm. And no matter what situation you're in, you never lose yourself, because that's the hard thing to get back.
Yourself?
Hard thing.
Wow.
Very hard.
Anything you want to tell the people? You probably don't have a lot to say. She's not a talker.
I'm not a talker. I don't have a lot to say. But
to people that are, I had, when my last episode, it was a lot. I received a lot of messages, email, DMs of parents that lost their children to.
I am involved in Village of Love with Tawana.
Oh, nice.
We getting ready to go to Washington.
She told me that.
Next month. So yeah, I am a part of that.
Have you ever given advice to?
I have. I had somebody reach out to me not even a month ago.
And you're open to that?
I'm open to that.
Okay.
So I had to go through it
mm-hmm.
to know how to help others. I am open to helping others. I have people that reach out to me. I have ladies that I talk to all the time that I check on. I make it my business to check on them, because where they are now, I'm 2 years past them. Mm. So it may be 5, 4, 8 months for them. Mm-hmm. And I just reassure them it's all a part of the process. But timing is everything, because I may have started grieving 1 year. Mm-hmm. You may not start really grieving 2 years, 2 years 3 years, 4 years. It's all on you. Mm-hmm. But do not isolate yourself, because isolation, you won't get the help that you need. Because if I was to isolate myself, I wouldn't be talking to Sister Tawana. I wouldn't be a part of the group. I wouldn't be a part of a lot of things. And I am. And I'm able to help other people, even if it's just a conversation, because sometimes you just need somebody to listen. Yeah. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. And a lot of times you don't get that within your house. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You have to, you know when you can connect with somebody. Like you feel it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're open to that?
I'm open to that. I already do it. So, good. My testimony will be to help other people.
You feel that's your purpose?
I feel that's my purpose.
Wow.
I had to go through it. I had to. That's the only way I'm going to be able to help other people. Mm-hmm. But that's my duty to go back.
And it birthed your business.
Mm-hmm. It did.
Because, like I said on the last episode, God didn't take your son.
No, he didn't.
He didn't. Murder. And a lot of people blame God. Like, okay, God, how can you allow?
Never blamed him. Never fought him. It took me a long time to even ask him why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, no.
That's because of, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate you for coming and making this.
You're more than welcome.
Do you feel better?
A lot better.
I feel inspired.
A lot better.
You do feel better?
This has been my transition week. I went through a lot of phases, even cutting my hair.
It's amazing too.
Yeah.
Y'all, she cut her hair off. I said, I know that's right. It's beautiful.
So, this moment was my waiting to exhale moment.
Waiting to exhale. Yeah. Check out the shirt. So, I'm gonna have to zoom in on that. Yeah. That's beautiful. Exhale.
And that's what I came to do. And I did.
And you exhale.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you for having me.
No problem. Well, y'all, I'm going to see y'all next week. I have no idea what's going to happen next week, but I'm going to see y'all, though, next week. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Listening to me every week. I have people that listen to me faithfully.
My alerts go off. So
and you set your notification?
On the podcast. It's on my phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always thought my show would be boring. But thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank y'all for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. If you're listening on the Spotify, iHeartRadio, I'm on iHeartRadio, I just found out. And Apple Podcasts, if you have an iPhone. You can add the show to your list. And thank you again.
Like, share, follow.
Yeah, like, share, follow. Like, share, follow. I'm going to see y'all.